Hey, church family. Hope you're having a great week. This is our Wednesday Devo time, and man, I hope you've been able to get outside a little bit. Hey, we're still praying for those of you who can't, who have. I know we've had several members that have had COVID, and we're still praying for you guys. And what a strange time we're living in. But hope everyone is doing well out there. I just wanted to share a few quick words. I hope you were able to. Just tune into our Sunday thing. I know it's weird being online, but hopefully we're getting into the groove of that after so many months, kind of in and out and everything. But today I went and saw a doctor over some labs that came back for me, and so I had to go see um, the doctor so they could tell me how to be more healthy. Can you imagine that? None of us ever have to worry about that, right? And so one of the things that the doctor was telling me was there are some things I need to do and some things I need to avoid so I can be healthy. And so the physical aspect of my life, there are good things and there are bad things. There are things I need to look to do and there are things I need to look to avoid. And so just as we do that physically, just as we focus on our physical health and we try to just be healthy in that manner, we also need to do the same thing spiritually. And so as I was sitting there listening to all of these things that I need to focus on, I had to think back to our series we've been going through as we've talked about all these vices. You remember at the very first, we set out and we said, vices are just bad habits, just like eating the wrong foods, just eating bad foods, or being in a habit of not exercising, or things like that. Vices are just bad habits that we have created. And so now we're in a rut where these bad things, again, they are bad things because they keep us from getting to where we want to be as children of God. So spiritual vices keep us from being transformed, from spiritually maturing into the Christian that God has called us to be. Just like the donut every morning leads to unhealth, the bad health, things that you just don't want. And so as I thought about that, one of the things that they told me I should do is to keep a log of what I eat. And so now I have to write down what I eat. This is the same kind of concept that when we talk about money, Dave Ramsey will say, you need to have it all down. You need to have a budget. You need to have an envelope. So you feel that money going out instead of just, doing it and thinking, oh, I didn't spend that much. Just like eating. Oh, I didn't eat that many chips. Well, why is the bag empty? The dog got it. Who knows? But just like we do in this, remember last week, I hope you got to listen to the sermon on wrath. One of the greatest things I think that Rebecca DeYoung, in her chapter on this, really says to us is, if you think at all, and maybe if you don't think at all, but if you think at all that you have a problem with wrath or a problem with anger, she says to log it, to journal it, and just write down each time kind of what the situation is, how mad it made you from 1 to 5, why it was mad, and just a little comment on, the whole thing. And so she is calling us to do something there, just like we are with our physical health. That in our physical health, well, we need to, when something's out of balance, when something's not in range, we need to focus. We need to look and say, all right, maybe I need to start checking this out. Maybe I need to write it down and see what I'm really doing here. And the thing with her, she ran this study where she had a group of people who did this, who logged when they got angry and why and how mad it made them. If you saw the sermon, you know that as they went back to check on these things, as a little bit of time had passed, they looked back on these things very differently than when they did in the moment. And so while they might have been angry at a 5 in the moment, it was just overwhelming how big of a difference it was later on down the road. And the majority of the times they would come away saying, well, that was petty. And so in the moment it was everything, but later on down the road it was different. And so we have to keep a check both on our physical health and our spiritual health. And I think maybe that's one of the tougher things to do, because um, in our spiritual health, maybe it's a little easier to hide. Maybe it's a little easier to ignore. I'm having no physical ailments because of this. Nothing's going wrong. No doctor's calling me in. No, my spouse isn't getting on me because this is happening. And so physical health may call us to go get help a little more quickly or a little more directly. Whereas our spiritual health, it really is something that, as I talk about just something like wrath, I may not have the slightest clue that that's a problem for you. Most people may not have a clue that may be a problem for you, but you do. You know it. And so you have to take care of that and understand that that is a vice for you that is keeping you from where you need to be. And so whether we're talking about wrath or vainglory or upcoming this week, I'm ready for this, gluttony, another great lesson. Whether it's any of those things, that's something that we have to check. It's something we have to be honest with ourselves about, that we know that we struggle with this. And so if we do that, we need to still do the work, just like our physical health, where we've got to eat the right thing, we'll work out, make sure we're moving, make sure we're doing all these things that cause us those habits that become habits, so that we can, these are positive habits moving towards our goal. Just like that, we do that in our spiritual life, that we need to create these positive habits spiritually. So that they affect us in the right way, that they lead us, those habits lead us to our goal. And I hope so much that that's the goal you have set for you, that you want to continue maturing, that you are not happy that you are where you are, not necessarily that I want you to be growing, not that we're always angry or upset where we are, but we just understand and we hope for more maturity. Then I hope, now as I'm 38, when I'm 45, I look back and say, thank you, God, for all the ways that I've been able to grow, all the ways that I've been able to mature over these years. And so I hope that's the case for you. And as we do this, we're able to lead others. We're able to come together as a church and really, walk arm in arm and help each other along the way. Just like we would if one of us had a physical ailment and we could help. We know we would do that. So let's do that spiritually as well. Just as we go through these vices, I hope you've been able to see these, to hear them. I've got to catch up on the podcast and put, I think, the last two, at least two on the podcast. But however you're able to hear or see them the best, I'll try to get those out there. And some are on YouTube and Facebook. But hey, catch up with those. Hey, grab the book if you haven't already. There's so much more stuff than what even I can put in there. So just continue to be here, to listen, and let's grow together. Let's continue to be God's church in this place. And so as we grow and mature, we're able to help those around us, to reach our community like we need to. So love you guys. I care for every one of you. And if you need anything during this time, let me know. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.